Hello everyone. I'm just checking that I'm online. I'm hoping I'm online. And hopefully I'll find out in a few seconds. It'll come on my telephone. I'm hoping. Let's see. And once I see I'm online, then I will begin. I'll just check my phone again. It says live, online. Maybe someone can tell me if I'm online. Yep. Oh, it sounds like I'm online. Ah. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so it looks like I'm online. I'll just quickly try and focus again. Okay, and I just make sure that the thing is off here. And so Chrome, quick Google Chrome. Good. All right. Okay, really, really good to be here with you all. For some reason, I'm not actually seeing the video on my channel, but I guess it will show up later on. I'm hoping if you're seeing it. And let's begin. Right, so I've got about an hour before I have to go home and have breakfast and get ready to take the children to school tomorrow. So what I want to do in this session is work with the program I've used for years that really helps manage my body. Now, everyone wants to be strong and flexible and fit, but the older you get, the more you realize that the conventional methods of strength and flexibility actually don't last. You see, as soon as you feel tension in your body and you feel stretch in your body, the body thinks something's wrong. On a subconscious level, you enter a subconscious level of flight or fight. The flight or fight response actually takes your body into a place where it thinks all its energy should be devoted to getting ready to fight something or someone or run away from a perceived foe, which probably isn't there. And then when all your energy is put into this, you turn off all the processes which will help you live a long, healthy life. The things like your digestive system, which allows you to absorb nutrients, eliminate toxins and wastes, that gets turned off if you enter a state of flight or fight. Also your immune system, that which will allow you to recover from sickness, heal from an injury. That doesn't work when your body is in an ongoing state of flight or fight. And your reproductive system. Now, reproductive system, you may think, oh, that's about my hormones. Well, it is to a certain extent. That's about having children, fertility, sex. Well, it is to a certain extent. But the most important feature of the reproductive system that most people forget is that it's your regeneration system. It's the part of your body, the part of your internal physiology that allows you to regenerate your cells. So when, say, for example, you abrade the skin and you fall and you slash the skin, the cells have to regrow. And that regrowth comes from the reproductive system. Tongue cells are being scraped off innumerably every day, and they have to be regenerated, regrown, reproduced. The reproductive system is what also regenerates your brain into old age, or else the option is senility, which is a very popular option. Popular options for old age include brain degeneration, but what we'd all like would be to live long and have every cell of our body being able to regenerate. Now, one of the things that's most commonly misunderstood in the modern world is meditation. Meditation is not just sitting in a really uncomfortable position. getting numb and cold and bored. And even for the people who enjoy meditation, which relatively is not that many, seated meditation, it's not that effective to really get the meditative state. If you're a person, and you know people like this, who do enjoy seated meditation, what are they really doing? Is it really meditation? Perhaps in some cases. But a real test, if you're really doing meditation, is you should be able to not get cold. And when I first saw a meditative monk, the video I saw was of someone seated naked in the snow. And they're able, real meditative masters are able to be completely relaxed, yet blood flows incredibly, even in the snow. And this is some feature of meditation which most modern people miss. The meditative state is closer in most Western bodies to what a Western athlete will get when they're said to be in the zone or in the flow state, a place where they're exercising, but it's a sustainable exercise, where they're not going at their max, they're doing something where they know they could do it for several hours. That sustainable, engaging, effortless, calming, invigorating state, which the athlete calls the flow state or in the zone, that is closer to real meditation. But notice it's dynamic, it's moving. It's not wrong to be seated or in a stationary posture and move energy through your body. It's just much, much harder. And I just did a lesson just then on my membership site, how to show people how to actually generate energy and heat while in stationary postures. But it's not easy to learn. And the people I was talking to are people, many of whom have been with me for many, many years. So the idea of even yoga postures, being able to move energy and information through the body, is also very difficult. Because what happens in many yoga postures, which often people think yoga is different to meditation, is that yoga postures tend to be stationary postures, but there's often too much tension in the body, and that will block blood flow and cause the heart rate to increase. And almost any sensation of stretch in the body will often stimulate a stretch reflex, which is part of your flight or fight response. And any real sensation of stretch is a little bit like a garden hose. When you fold the garden hose in half, the hose doesn't carry water through it. The water's blocked. So similarly, if you really stretch any part of the body, that actually impedes blood flow. And when the body feels like the blood's not flowing, it makes the heart beat faster. And that sensation of the heart beating faster through either overstretching or over-breathing or over-tensing muscles, that will always lead to a flight or fight response. So what we want is postures, movements, breathing, mental control that can give you a meditative state which will make blood flow while keeping you really calm, keeping your mind really engaged, present in the present moment, not feeling like time is flying. The real meditative state is time flies, you have a good time. The default network of the brain disengages. The default network is what controls time traveling and what also controls your ego center. So when you turn off your default network of the brain, what happens is the body enters a place of, I am here, I am now, I'm connected with the activity I'm doing. For that, you need an activity which is exciting enough for you to keep you engaged, but not so exciting it gets stressful, and calming enough for you to keep you calm, but not so calming it gets boring. But having said that it's engaging, calming, and feeling effortless and sustainable, it must move blood through the body. So if you're trying to move blood through the body, which is what's going to then help you to regenerate your cells with the nervous system in its calming place, then you need to also be stopping the things that block blood flow. tense less, stretch less, breathe less, think less, and eat less. Because those 5 things will actually retard the flow of blood through the body. And then when you're exercising, you find very, very quickly heart rate increases and it becomes a stressful activity, which might give limited benefits to muscles and joints, but long-term problems. So I titled this talk, Simple Muscle Strength and Mobility or Flexibility, because it is. But the thing is, what we want is not to feel stretch or tension. So these movements at their simplest form can be done by pretty much anyone. You can compartmentalize them and you can just do them one at a time, or you can make the whole body be like an orchestra. So I'm going to get you to do movements of your fingers, of your wrists, simple movements of your elbows, of your arms, of your shoulder blades, of your hips, of your thighs, even of your neck perhaps. And each movement of each of the different joint complexes is a little bit like playing an instrument. And you know that if you do play an instrument, it can often be a very engaging, meditative practice. But concentration and meditation are 2 different things. Concentration is a one-pointed activity and that's all. Whereas meditation is many-faceted. So an activity can be like playing a guitar, for example. I've got my hand doing one thing on one side and the hand doing something else on the other side. And when a conductor plays an orchestra, the conductor is doing an activity also, an engaging meditative activity perhaps, where they've got 50 instruments at once. So I'm going to ask you to learn to play the many instruments in your body, and perhaps you can even play them all at once. Now, this principle is based on the following ideas. You've probably been told that if you want to strengthen your body, say, for example, you want to strengthen your biceps, maybe it's a good thing to do chin-ups or biceps curls. You get a heavy weight, bend it and straighten it, bend it and straighten it. That's going to maybe strengthen your biceps. Now, just while I'm talking for the moment, just for those who have joined in, I'm going to explain a little bit. That's what I'm doing now. Then I'm going to teach you a set of movements. And at the end, we're going to do these movements as a little led practice. So I'm not just talking the whole way through, but I'm just explaining a bit of the rationale behind the practice first. So if you're trying to strengthen your biceps, we're told often in the gym that you should pick up the weight. It should be a heavy enough weight that eventually the muscle should fail. So say this is quite a heavy weight, it's actually quite light, but I pick it up. And they say that the quickest improvement in muscles seems to come when you do what's called a 1 repetition maximum. In other words, a weight that's so heavy that if you pick it up, you'll manage to pick it up. It'll be a strain. You'll see it in the strain in the face, as you do in many of the athletes in gyms, weightlifters and things. And they'll put it down, and then the second time you try, you cannot pick it up. The problem with this 1 repetition maximum is that it's very stressful. You can see it in people's face. And the risk of tearing or damaging a muscle is very high. So what exercise physiologists have done over a many-year regime is recognize that possibly the most effective repetition maximum system for improving muscle strength quickly is a 9 repetition maximum. So a 9 repetition maximum will be the weight. So it's going to be a lot lighter than your 1 repetition maximum, where you can pick up the weight 1, 2, 3, easy, 4, gets a bit harder, 5, a bit harder, still 6, getting harder, 7, getting harder, 8, really difficult, but you can do it. 9 becomes a strain, you do it, and you put it down, you can't do 10. In other words, you've calculated the weight for you, and it's going to change with time as you get better or work or weaker or stronger, that 9 times is the maximum you can pick up that weight. And they say that the 9 repetition maximum is the best way to improve strength in muscle. And this is true to a certain extent, but look at the possibilities that it may also create. One is that when you reach this state, the 9th position, the ninth one, the ninth repetition, you're actually in a stressful place and you're teaching your body more stress. If you're a completely stress-free person, if you have no stress in your life, well, this doesn't matter so much. We can afford to spend maybe between 1 to 5% of our day, our waking day, in a stressful place, provided the other 95% minimum is in a really relaxed place. But studies show that most people are living in stress all day long, and this causes a really negative impact on the immune system, digestive, reproductive system, not to mention what happens to your head. Because if you're in a state of flight or fight as a dominant mode, the flight or fight response, meaning the sympathetic nervous system, as opposed to rest, regeneration, relaxation mode, the parasympathetic dominant state, then in the sympathetic nervous system state, your mental subconscious mode might not be conscious, but unconsciously, your body's thinking fear, anger, lack of safety, lack of trust. And that's the feeling that comes out of you with the people you spend time with, in the way you do your business dealings, your job. And this does not lead to a fruitful life generally. So what we want, I think, for longevity is something which is going to make you feel good mentally, but also give you the physical benefits. And what I'm offering is something which is not sounding like it's going to give incredible amounts of strength, but it will if you do it enough. And I'm talking maybe about a much higher repetition maximum. Maybe instead of 9 repetition maximum, maybe 30, 40 times minimum, but ideally 1,000 times. So in other words, you're repeating something so many times that it doesn't ever feel difficult. But provided you're moving your joints, you are using muscles. So say, for example, all you did was bend your elbows up and down like this. Does that feel like you're going to get strong? Well, touch your biceps and you'll notice the biceps actually switches on and off. And as it switches on and off, it is giving a limited strengthening ability to the muscle. But significantly, it's also giving strengthening to your tendons, which join the muscles to the bones, and also your ligaments, which join bone to bone. And also, it's giving a force onto your bone as well, which increases bone mineral density. You see, we don't just have to improve the strength of our muscle tissue. You also have to improve the strength of your tendons, ligaments, and bones. But tendons, ligaments, and bones take a lot longer to strengthen. And that's why in places like India and China and many traditional cultures, they do these repetitive, very slow exercises. Think something like Qigong or Tai Chi maybe is what people are going to think some of this stuff looks like. But it's very little movements. It doesn't look tense, doesn't look stretching, but they do it for hours at a time. Look, think what we do in the West. How much benefit do people get from just simply going for a walk? How many times do your legs go back and forth over the space of many hours? We know this really promotes blood flow. If you do it slow enough, you'll stay calm. It's one of the best exercises. Similarly, swimming is repetitive, it's sustainable, provided you're ready for it. And that also gives benefits. Yet, how much effort is being done with the legs? Not much. I'm suggesting that what we need is exercises that are going to much slower increase the strength of the body and flexibility. What's flexibility? Flexibility is about mobility. So what you want to be mobile is not actually a stretch. As soon as you come to the end of the range of your motion, then you're going to have problems. In martial arts, it's well known, for example, that if you fully straighten your elbow or your knee, someone can break it very easily. But if your elbow and knee are bent, then it's much harder to break the knee. A locked joint, a stretched muscle, is at the end of the range of motion, and a simple tiny push further will damage it or cause significant pain. So really, my suggestion is generally to avoid the sensation of stretch and go for mobility. And that means moving your joints. Now, how do we move them? We can move them in 2 main ways. We can move them back and forth or up and down. And this is called linear movement. But linear movement is limited. Imagine how limited it would be in a car and how it would feel if you drove forward and forward, stop, backward, brake, stop, accelerate forward, stop. you'd be using a lot of brake and accelerator, and your neck would be jarring back and forth. Similarly, if you're asked to go forward, stop, backward, stop, accelerator, brake, uses lots of energy, very jarring for the body. Linear movements of the body are not effective. They will jar your body and they take energy. They waste energy. If all your practice in your physical form of exercise, whatever you call it, is linear, you'll find at the end of the practice, you can call it a workout, because at the end of the practice, you've got less energy, more need for food, more needs for sleep. But if at the end of your practice, you have a work in, something which I'd call closer to true meditation or yoga or qigong, or something which actually gives you energy. So at the end of the practice, you have more energy, less need for food, less need for sleep. That's much better for long-term health. Plus, you've moved your muscles, you've moved your joints. It will slowly increase or at least maintain the strength and stability that you've had when you're young. And because you're doing it in a calming way and you're moving blood from this practice as well, it's going to encourage immune function, digestive function, reproductive function. So if you have an injury, you're getting the right messages, the right information, the right energy, the right building blocks to fix up your injury. And this is what I want to share. So the thing is, linear movement won't be any good. But what you can use instead is circular movement. So circular movement, as opposed to going back and forth on these mats, forward and backward on these mats, I can go in a circle. And if I go in a circle on these mats, this gives a much, much better response. And I'm trying to introduce something tonight, which if you really want to learn, then please consider taking my full course. I have like a simple, what's called a joint synergy program, which I'm happy to give you for free if you go to my website, or you can write to me if you can't find it. I can send you the Joint Synergy Introductory Program, which is a PDF file about 10 pages long with explanations, and also a couple of links to some videos, one of which is half an hour long. And I'm happy to give you this with some instructions based on what we're doing tonight. And it's a beautiful practice. But if you'd like to learn more, I have 2 courses, one of which has just been released called Joint Synergy, which is a comprehensive, beautifully filmed practice, and another one called 12 Ways to Move Blood Through Your Body, which is I released at the end of last year, which is also very, very good. These practices will give you strength and mobility, plus blood flow, calmness, meditation at the same time. And it's based on the idea that linear movements don't work so well in the body, but circular movements move better. The idea that if you reach the end of range of motion, you lose your freedom. What we want is freedom. So let's look, for example, at this process I'll call joint synergy, which will give you strength and flexibility in muscles and joints, plus improve blood flow at the same time as keeping you calm and keep your mind engaged if you choose the right level for you. So let's go through a couple of the different joints of the body and then gradually put it together as one complete practice if you're ready for that. You may not be ready for the whole practice. And then perhaps we'll do the whole thing again without me using words. So I'm going to consider the shoulder blade first. I'll take my shirt off so you can see more easily what I'm talking about. So if you look at the shoulder blade, and I'm going to ask you to face me, because I'd like you to practice some of these things if you want to. So face me, but I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what my body is doing. So when we look at the shoulder blade, there's 5 stages to what I'll call this program, this what I'll call a joint synergy program. 5 stages. The first stage is the linear stage. And the linear stage, you take the shoulder blade forward and backward, and you explore the range of motion. Now, I don't go so far forward it feels painful or stretchy. I go maybe 80%. You see, I go to here. I could go to there, but then it becomes a stretch. And the stretch is one step closer to pain, one step closer to injury. I go backwards, maybe to there. I could go to here, but then it becomes stretch. And every time I feel the stretch, that may cause an injury, or it may cause physiological stress or mental stress. I don't want that. You don't want pain. Okay, so it's not full range of motion, and just to explore how far the body can move forward and backward. Then I go, what else can the shoulder blade do? Well, it goes up and down, up and down. So the 2 linear movements of the shoulder blade that are important to work with here are forward and backward, and up and down. That's the first stage of this joint synergy program. Second stage of the joint synergy program is to understand that linear movements can be converted to circular movement, sometimes figure eight movements. And there's a possibility of going in either direction, but I'm just going to choose one direction tonight because it will take too long to go through everything. So instead, I'm going to move my shoulder blade from the down position to the backward position, then to the upward position, then to the forward position. So I go down, back, up, forward and down, back and up, forward and down, back and up, and I continue in a circle. And so this is the second stage of this joint synergy program. And while I'm doing this, it's actually a strength building exercise because whenever I go up, I'm activating the muscles above my shoulder. Whenever I'm going down, I'm activating the muscles below my shoulder. And I can feel that with my hand underneath my armpit, with my hand in front. I can feel that when my shoulder goes forward, the muscles in front of the shoulder become active. When I bring my hand behind, I can feel the shoulders behind, the muscle behind the shoulder go active when the arm starts moving back. And the thing is, there's a process. Keep doing it with me if you can, and notice if your temperature starts to change. Very quickly, you start to get warmth in your fingers. And what's happening is blood is flowing very easily because the arms are acting like a pump. They pump the blood and take the place of the heart. Now, enter what we'll call the third stage. And the third stage of the joint synergy program is to relax. Stop for a moment. What does it take to relax? Well, there's two types of relaxation. One type that I use commonly is to just focus on the 9 joint complexes and tell yourself to relax them. 9 joint complexes, if I go from bottom to top and take my arms up, I go ankles, knees, hips, waist, chest, neck, shoulders, elbows, fingers. And the fingers include the wrists, neck include the head, toes include the ankle. So these are joint complexes, regions that work together as one complex. So if I want to relax, I can be doing an activity like the shoulder rolling, and I can go, right, third stage of the joint synergy, I want to relax my body. So I go relax toes, relax my knees, relax my hips, relax my waist, including my abdomen, relax my chest, relax my neck and head, relax my shoulders, relax my elbows, and relax my fingers. But it's not just relax, think lengthen and relax. So I'm not just having my hand floppy. Think lengthen and relax, because as you lengthen your fingers, that will pull blood to the fingers. And when blood comes to the fingertips, the blood had to travel all the way to get there. And that keeps you warm. So this is the third stage of the joint synergy practice, and you can do it by just relaxing. So I said you can relax in 2 ways. One way is to just scan the different joint complexes and go relax. Ankles, knees, hips, waist, chest, neck, shoulders, elbows, fingers. And you can do that while you're moving or while you're stationary. Second way of relaxing is to connect with 12 bridges between conscious and unconscious. And I can go through them individually, but I'm going to break them down into 6 parts, 6 places in your body which have access to the unconscious, because these places all have the control, which is a conscious control and also an unconscious control. Things like blinking. Blinking you can do consciously, but sometimes when something comes close to your face, you'll blink automatically. It's both conscious control, unconscious. Things like the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle sitting below the ribs, which when it contracts, pulls down and causes an expansion above the diaphragm, which pulls air into the chest, and an expansion, it causes a pressure increase in the abdomen. So you'll feel when your diaphragm becomes active, it feels like your belly is expanding, your belly breathes, but of course the air goes into the chest. Okay, but that's something you can do consciously, breathe into the abdomen, but it happens at nighttime in the most deepest regenerative part of your sleep. So these 12 places I'm talking about are places like the diaphragm, there's 12 of them in the body, which have dual control. So to access these, stand, bend your knees a little bit, lengthen your fingers, and now 1, check the fingers can move. 2, pull the shoulders apart, check the shoulders are free and they can roll. 3, lengthen the neck, check the neck can easily move, not to stretch, just to move. 4, expand the region between the pelvic floor and the sitting bones by relaxing your pelvic floor, and then check your pelvis can roll. 4, lengthen the back by bending the knees slightly and dropping the hips like a weight on a string, which is your spine, and then inhale into the abdomen, and then exhale passively. See, my belly is like a baby's belly. Now, later in the practice, I'll show you how to go one step further. And so when, instead of inhaling to the abdomen, let the air out by itself, which is what I recommend for most people, you can gradually learn this, which is inhale abdomen, then exhale lower abdomen in and roll the abdomen. So I'm doing a rolling action. So I go lower in, upper in, lower in, lower out, upper out, like that. And that practice like that is a very important one because it engages your lower abdomen, which you've all heard about. It also triggers the enteric nervous system, your true core, the gut brain. And real meditation connects the thinking brain with the action brain. Forget thinking up here, have more of a gut feeling, they say, don't they? A gut feeling is often a better feeling to have. And so by connecting with your core and learning how to breathe like this, how to move your core like this, it's really beneficial. But I'm not asking you to do that at the start. In the beginning, when you see me do this, all I'd like you to think is just inhale to the abdomen, let it relax like a baby's belly. You want to stay young? Act like a baby. And then let the air out by itself. And the next thing I'd like you to do is to relax your face. So periodically, you'll see me move my jaw, my lips, freeing them up, blinking a few times and moving the eyes. Also, I'll swallow. Those things relax the face. So let's do this then while rolling the shoulders. So 5-stage joint synergy program. Stage 1, linear, shoulders back and forth, shoulders up and down. Stage 2, circular, backward and up, forward and down, backward, upward, forward, downward, and in a circle. Then while you're doing this, we relax these 12 bridges in 6 ways. So we go 1, fingers lengthen, but the fingers can move. 2, shoulders apart, but the shoulders should relax. And of course, we're moving the shoulders, just think relax, shoulders. 3, neck lengthen, but the neck can move. So you might move it the tiniest way just to check it's free. 4, pelvic floor relax, check the pelvis can roll. So you just roll the pelvis a little bit. And 5, back lengthen, check the abdomen can breathe or roll. 6, relax the face. And then once you start relaxing the body, you start to realize that actually your shoulder rolling on a relaxed body will cause the spine to move, the trunk to move. And what we notice then, if you're relaxed, whenever the shoulders go forward, it sort of makes your body bend forward. But whenever the shoulders go backward, it makes your body bend backward. That's important because that's how you now get to the next stage. You reverse engineer it. All true movement in the natural body doesn't it's not something which the limb causes the spine to move. The core of the body, which is the middle of the central of the trunk, that should move first. So the core is actually between the navel and the pubic bone inside, between the top of the hips and the tailbone, around L5, S1, but inside, between the diaphragm and the pelvic floor inside. This central core is the place where all movement should start from. So what we want is to recognize that the core should move before the shoulder. Now, the core is hard to access from the beginning. So stage 4, we don't talk core, we talk trunk. So we know from stage 3 that shoulders going forward makes your trunk bend forward, and shoulders going back makes your trunk bend backward. So now stage 4 is move the trunk first. Go round out the lower back, upper back, bring the shoulders forward. Expand the belly chest, bring the shoulders back. Round out lower back, upper back, bring the shoulders forward. Expand belly chest, bring the shoulders back. Round out lower back, upper back, shoulders forward. Expand belly, chest, shoulders back. And if you can practice this with me, you'll find that actually it's a much more wave-like natural movement, and the shoulders get a lot more mobile. You move a lot more freer, and the whole body relaxes and gets much warmer as well. This is now stage 4, where the trunk moves in a way that pulls the shoulders. Shoulders are still working, but the trunk moves in the direction the shoulders want to move first. Now we have stage 5, and stage 5 is accessing the true core. Not everyone watching this is going to understand or get stage 5. But what we want is the idea that the core is not just your spine, not just your trunk. When the lower back goes backwards, the core is inside. So what we want is as the lower back goes backward, the lower abdomen goes in. So then you see actually what I want is before my shoulders go forward, the lower back rounds out. Before the lower back rounds out, the lower abdomen goes in. So watch. I go lower abdomen in, lower back round out, upper back round out, shoulders go forward. Pubic bone goes forward, expand belly, chest, shoulders go back. Then round out, lower abdomen in, round out, lower back, upper back, shoulders forward. Expand the pelvic floor, belly, chest, shoulders go back. Lower abdomen in, lower back goes out, upper back goes out, shoulders go forward. Expand the pelvic floor, expand belly, chest, shoulders go back, lower abdomen in, round out the lower back, upper back, shoulders forward, etc. And then you see me. My lower abdomen is the first thing to move. And when the lower abdomen goes in, it pushes directly against the L5-S1, which is the place where most people get back pain. And this can relieve a lot of the back pain that people get. Don't move your tailbone back. Move the core back, which is the junction between the sacrum and the bottom of the spine. That's stage 5. So you've got the idea, you've got 5 stages you can move like this. And you can do this in any part of the body. When you stop moving linearly and you start moving circularly, you start to get benefits. Let me go back into the arms for a second, because we were talking about the arms in the beginning, and I was using that as an example for strengthening. Because you see, when people talk about strength, one of the most common things people think about is, I need to get stronger with my biceps. It's all about arm strength for some reason for many people, but obviously not. But bicep strength can be done like doing this, or maybe doing a chin-up on a bar, but it's bending the elbow. But whenever you do bicep curls, you need also strengthening the triceps. So for tricep curls, you need something like maybe either a weight, which could be a weight like this, for example, that sort of weight. And that's using this muscle. Or you could do weight bearing, for example, and either on the knees or off the knees, you could bend the elbow. So I'm going to keep my knees to the ground so I can feel. So my elbow works when I do this. My triceps is active when I bend the elbow. My biceps is relaxed. Really, for a balanced elbow joint function, for every time you do a biceps curl or a bent elbow strengthening exercise, you want a triceps activity. So you want the triceps to also work. So one way of doing it might be to do, say, 20 push-ups followed by 20 chin-ups or something like that, or using weights that would give a similar effect. But maybe it's better, instead of doing only 20, to do 100 easier ones. So let me show you. So what I could do would be maybe, here's the simple chin-up. What am I picking up? Nothing but my arm. But my bicep works. My tricep still turns off. And then if I go further up, there's my triceps activity. So then I do that. So can you see, here is my chin-up or my bicep curl. There's my push-up. Chin-up, push-up. I'm not doing difficult work. How many times can I do this? Thousands. How many times can you do this? You know, the average person will probably find if they do it gently, they can do this for 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes perhaps. It's actually much more beneficial than you've ever imagined. But to make it really beneficial, you want to do the system of joint synergy. So before we understand how to do that, let's look at what you can do with your elbows. And I hope this can give you an idea about how this can really help you get blood flow calmness while exercising your arm. Okay, so what we can do is look at the elbow. The elbow joint complex has actually got the possibility of doing bend and straighten. So do that. Face me. I'm just going sideways so you can see it. So bend and then straighten. There's the linear exercise. And you feel it's linear. It's going forward and backward. It stops. It starts. And now bend. And the other movement of the elbow is palm down, palm up, palm down, and palm up. Now that's called pronation and then supination. palm down, palm up. These are linear movements, and they're great to just get the elbow functioning. I've broken my elbow before, and just doing that can help relieve the joint. It can help mobilize it. It can help strengthen it. Gradually, you need little exercises. If you want to pick up heavy weights, of course, you could do it with massive weights and hold the elbow and go palm down, palm up. There's a strengthening exercise. But how many times could you do it? If you can only do it 10 or 20 times and it gets stressful, you enter a place of stress. So maybe something so easy that doesn't even require weights for many people. Some people might, but to do it several hundred times. Now notice the effect of combining the movements. That's the linear practice. That's stage 1 of this joint synergy. Stage 2 turns linear into fluid. So now notice the difference. Try it. Go palm up, bend the elbow. Palm down, straighten the elbow. Palm up, then bend the elbow. Palm down, then straighten the elbow. Turn the palm up, bend the elbow. Turn the palm down, straighten the elbow, and then continue. And as you do this straight away, it feels different. This is not taking energy. You start to feel energy almost coming out of your hands. Because it's not going back and forth, it's fluid. And fluid motion is a lot less energy taking and it's a lot more energy gathering. It's a very simple set of movements which you could eventually learn doing chin-ups, doing different types of chin-ups like this. You can even do it while doing push-ups to a certain extent. But this movement alone is actually very, very powerful. You can feel the energy. So as we're doing it, going back and forth, up and down, let's go. First stage was linear. Second stage is the fluid one I'm doing now. Third stage is relax. So as I'm doing this, do it with me if you can. Go relax ankles, relax your knees, relax the hips, relax your waist, relax chest, relax the neck, relax your shoulders, relax your elbows, relax your fingers. Do it now with the 12 bridges, the 6 places. Check your fingers are lengthened, but they can move. Check your shoulders can roll. Check your neck can move. Check your pelvis is relaxed and your pelvic floor is relaxed and your pelvis can move. Check your back is lengthened and your abdomen can breathe or roll. Check your face is relaxed. Then you start to notice that once you've relaxed in stage 3, you're ready for stage 4 because you're realizing that as you do this in a relaxed way, whenever your arm goes up, it sort of makes you bend backward. When your arm goes down, it sort of makes you bend forward. So now in stage 4, we reverse engineer the movement, and instead of the hand causing the core to move, let's make the hand be a result of the core movement. In stage 4, it's the trunk that moves the core. So you go, hand moves down, makes your trunk bend forward. Hand moves up, makes your trunk bend back. So stage 4. Make the trunk bend forward, then pull down the hands. Make the trunk bend backward, then lift up the hands. Round out lower back, upper back, hands down. Expand pelvic floor, belly, chest, hands up. Round out lower back, upper back, hands down. Expand belly, lift the collarbone, hands up, etc. And so now stage 4 is the trunk moves first, the hands follow. And this is a very different feeling. This is how natural movement is meant to take place. This is what the studies done by physiotherapists in the 1980s actually led people to come to. And that's where the expression, draw the navel to the spine, came in and engage the lower abdomen. Because in stage 5, actually, it's not just the trunk that has to move, it's the core. And so when stage 5 takes place, if you can do it, before the lower back bends forward, then the arms go forward. Actually, the lower abdomen should go in. So stage 5, lower abdomen in, lower back out, upper back out. Belly expand, chest expand. Lower abdomen in, push in the back, bring the arms down. Then expand the pelvic floor, expand belly, chest, arms up. Lower abdomen in, round out lower back, upper back. Expand the belly, expand the chest. Lower abdomen in, round out lower back, upper back. And as you're doing this then, this stage 5 starts to really manipulate the internal organs and you really start to feel very warm, but very relaxed, like you're in a warm bath being massaged by someone who loves you. This is the elbows. I'm going to go through the other joints a little bit quicker now that you understand the basic principle. So let's look at the arms. The arms can move forward and backward. That's the linear phase. Linear phase has three parts: out and in, also part of the linear phase. And the shoulders can also, the arms rather, can turn in and turn out. So to make these movements fluid, I use a figure eight. I can turn the shoulder out, go forward and wider, turn the shoulders in, bring the hands closer, and then bring the hands back and out. Turn the shoulders out, come closer, and then go forward and out. Turn the shoulders in, come close to the midline, and go backward behind. Then turn out, come closer to the midline, go forward, turn in, and you're making the shape of a figure eight. Can you see my arms are drawing a figure eight? And the arms go behind and then in front. And so the second stage of the arm synergy, I'll call it arm synergy, is actually a sense of figure eight, where I notice that if I relax ankles, knees, hips, waist, chest, neck, shoulders, elbows, wrists, and then I check fingers can move, shoulders can roll, neck is free, pelvic floor relaxed, abdomen can breathe or roll, and the face is relaxed, then I start to notice that when my hands go backward, that makes me bend forward. When my hands go forward, it makes me bend backward. So stage 4, I reverse engineer it. So I go round out lower back, upper back before the hands go back. Then expand belly, chest before the hands go forward. Round out lower back, upper back before the hands go back. Expand belly, chest before the hands go forward, etc. And as I'm doing this, I'm strengthening my muscles. Here, the front of the shoulders are active, back is relaxed. Here, the back is relaxed, the back is firm, the front is relaxed. And as the front is firm, back is relaxed, that pushes blood from the firm section to the relaxed section, making your arm take the function of the heart. So the heart works less and the arm acts like a pump. And then I've got the feeling then that I've got this very smooth motion. And when I understand how the trunk moving first moves the arms, then perhaps, those of you who can, you work on the stage 5, which is lower abdomen in, lower back out, belly expand, chest up, lower abdomen in, round out the lower back, bring back the arms, expand belly, chest, arms forward, lower abdomen in before the lower back rounds out. And that's stage 5, working from the core first. It's a beautiful movement. Lovely. We can do the same with the wrists. And again, I'll move a bit quicker. Wrists can move forward and backward, side to side. There is wrist linear phase 1. But if I make the wrist move in a circle, that's fluid. And I can also add the forearm. So I can add a third place. Once I add a third place, then I get like a figure 8 motion of the palm coming toward me and away from me. And when I do that, and I relax, stage 3, I relax ankles, knees, hips, waist, chest, neck, shoulders, elbows, fingers, like that. Then I notice that when the fingers come towards me, I bend forward. Fingers go away, I tend to bend back. It happens naturally. So then I reverse engineer it. Stage 4. I go lower back, round out before the fingers come toward me. Belly expand before the fingers go away. Lower back, round out before the fingers come towards me. Belly extend. Then stage 5, those who can. Lower abdomen in. Lower back goes out. Belly expands. Lower abdomen in. Round out the lower back. Belly expands. Lower abdomen goes in. And then as I'm doing this, and really freeing up the body, I start to notice that the other joints want to move as well. And the things we've done so far can actually be included. But I'm getting tremendous wrist release. I can do it with my elbows wider like this. And every time I go like that, that tensions the radial nerve. Fantastic for releasing wrist problems. Go like this. It's the median nerve, ulnar nerve. So I can do the same thing and go tension radial nerve, median nerve, ulnar nerve. Tension radial nerve, pause, check. It's a different feeling to a stretch. Tension the median nerve. Tension the median nerve. Different feeling to a stretch. This is nerves being mobilized. Bend the elbow, ulnar nerve, ulnar nerve. And as you do it, you feel it's a different sensation. Different sensations. So you can keep it minimal, which will also tension the nerves. But this is the wrist energy. And then we can also have finger synergy. So finger synergy, one of the best exercises that I ever did for strengthening my wrists. I like balancing my arms. I like doing one-handed handstands, things like this. But I've also damaged my wrists. So one of the exercises that was the most beneficial for me was opening and closing the hands. Some people use springs or balls or something. But I found when I was walking in the Himalayas in India, then I would sometimes be walking for 8 hours a day, and I would just do this non-stop, 2,000-3,000 times in different positions. But it's linear, open, close, open, close. Fluid gives you more energy. So try this. Go open, close, hands, open, close, hands. Linear. Then fluid. Open the palm and go one at a time. Thumb down, first finger down, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. Thumb up. Then pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. Thumb down, then. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 up 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you learn to make the fingers move like playing a piano, and it becomes fluid. And if you relax ankles, knees, hips, waist, chest, neck, shoulders, elbows, wrists, then your body starts to move, and you start to feel the wrists actually want to follow the fingers. The wrist makes the elbow want to bend and straighten a little bit. The elbow makes the arm want to move forward and backward in its figure eight. The arm makes the shoulder want to roll. And you'll notice your pelvis is rolling as well. So then what we want to do is notice that when your fingers curl in, it makes you want to bend forward. When your fingers open, it makes you want to bend backward. And so you start to notice this. So that's stage 3. So stage 4 then, once you've relaxed, you go bend forward with your spine before curling the fingers down. Expand the belly before curling fingers up. Bend forward with the spine, curl the fingers down. Expand the belly, curl fingers up. And then stage 5, go lower abdomen in, fingers curl in. Lower abdomen out, fingers curl up. Lower abdomen in, and you continue like that. And this is a very nice feeling. Then, next stage would be to do the same thing in the pelvis. So the pelvis can also have the possibility of going linearly down and up, not just pelvis. Obviously, I'm moving the pelvis, but it makes my knees move as well. And it'll make my ankles move as well. So this just consider pelvis for the lower limb. But you can also go down a little bit halfway and move the pubic bone forward and then move the lower back backward. Move from the core. Pubic bone, the bottom of the core at the front, go forward. Lower back, directly between the top of the hips and the tailbone, L5, S1. Move that bit back, move the pubic bone forward. So back and forth is your linear motion for the pelvis. Up and down is linear. Don't straighten the knee fully, keep it a bit bent. Then we move in fluid form. So obviously 2 directions. We're just going to use one tonight. So you go backward, upward, forward, downward. Backward on the heels, upward in the middle, forward on the toes, downward in the middle. Backward on heels, forward in the middle, downward on the toes, backward in the middle. And then as you do this, if your shoulder stays where it is as you do it, you start to notice that the more you relax, enter stage 3, you start to notice, whenever my hips go back, it makes my trunk bend forward. Whenever hips go forward, it makes my trunk bend backward. So now stage 4, reverse engineer it. Go round out the lower back, take the hips back, expand the belly, take the hips forward. Round out lower back, take the hips back, expand the belly, take the hips forward. Stage 5, move from the real core, the lower abdomen. Lower abdomen in, round out lower back, hips back, expand belly, pubic bone forward. Round out the lower back, having done the lower abdomen. So we go lower abdomen, lower back, upper back, belly, chest, hips forward. And then like that. Now, here's when you start doing this, you start to maybe notice it's easier to pull in the lower abdomen, because here's a secret, that whenever your weight comes to the front of the feet, it tends to want to make the lower abdomen come in. And that gives you tremendous benefits then. So we make the lower abdomen go in by pressing on the front of the feet, and actually your toes are going to do the same as the fingers eventually. Other thing is that when we're doing this, as you're coming up and down, you'll find it's easier that as you come up, push the heels outward. It's as if your heels are doing that. Heels are pushing outward. So as I come up, heels push out. And when I go down, heels push in. It's like on the way up, I'm trying to turn my thighs in. On the way down, I'm trying to turn my thighs out, which means there's 4 places. Thighs turn in, thighs turn out is linear. So what you have to do is something to join them. So actually, when the hips are going from low to back, thighs turn in. Then come in the middle, the hips are neutral. And as you're going down and forward, heels squeeze in. Come back to the middle, neutral. Come back up, heels push out, thighs turn in the middle, neutral. As you're going down, heels squeeze in, as in thighs turn out. And you go, turn in the thighs, back to neutral, turn out the thighs, back to neutral. Push the heels out, back to neutral, push the heels in. And you'll feel this will open and close your sacroiliac joint. And as you're doing it, you'll feel your hamstrings engage, which really strengthens the knees. And you could even do this later on by doing it like with the arms, but on one leg, one arm. And every time you turn in the thigh, turn in the elbow, that's tremendous because it starts to tension the hamstring and release the sacroiliac joint. And when you turn the thigh out, which you can do with your elbow as well, that tensions the quadratus femoris, which releases around the tension around the front of the hip and pulls the femur head, the thigh bone, back into the socket, releasing a lot of anterior joint pain. But when you turn your thigh in, like this, you strengthen the hamstring, which is great for the knee, releasing sacroiliac joint and lower back. But avoid arching the back, lengthen the lower back, always expose the core. So this is another part of it. And as I go deeper into this short lecture, I can't give you everything with slow explanations, so I'm just giving you what I can give you in the time allowed. So now one more thing is that when you come up, you have to think about your back. So what we want is the idea that the back can work in, let's make it 5 parts. So the back can work in 5 parts. And part 1 will be expand the pelvic floor. Part 2, expand the lower back. Part 3, expand the upper back. Part 4, expand the chest. Part 5, expand the abdomen. And so each of these could be done. You could expand the back and the front linearly. You could do lower back belly or chest and upper back linearly, but better to do it in the flow. So I'm going to do 5-part expanding followed by 5-part compressing. First, let's do the expand. You go expand, pelvic floor, lower back, upper back, expand chest, expand abdomen, expand pelvic floor, lower back, upper back, expand chest, expand abdomen, expand pelvic floor, lower back, upper back, expand chest and expand abdomen. Now for this one, it's really great for back pain, and it also moves blood very effectively. But if you can go one step further, there's a compressive phase. And the compressive phase is 5 parts also. It's contract lower abdomen, phase 1, then push in the back at the base, phase step 2, push in the upper back, 3, push in the chest, 4, push in the abdomen, 5. So it's expand. So then when you combine them together, you're expanding 5 sections, compressing 5 sections. And this is not for beginners, this bit. The rest is all easy for beginners. But look, I go expand pelvic floor, lower back, upper back, expand chest, expand abdomen, then contract and push in lower back, lower abdomen, lower back, upper back, push in chest, push in abdomen, expand and expand, push in lower abdomen, push in the back, and then push in the front like that. Expand, expand, push in, expand up the back, down the front, contract lower abdomen, then contract up the back and down the front. And this movement is fantastic. And this is the trunk actually moving by itself. It can be really tremendous. And this is only a simple linear form. When you do it one side at a time, you start getting side bending and twisting, and you can use your arms to go in any direction and use it for walking and swimming, etc. Then The last one I'll quickly just touch upon, because I haven't got too long tonight, is to move the neck. So the neck, when it moves, is the possibility of when you want to release your neck and you have a neck problem, to stabilize it, bring the head down, move the neck back, keep the jaw relaxed. And that will minimize stress. Head down, neck back, equalizes the muscle work. Simply, when you lift your head up, don't just lift the chin up, move the throat forward. So throat forward, chin up is relieving for the neck. Now, head down, neck back is relieving. You can try that. If you've got a neck problem, be careful. So I'll show you what's not so nice. It's the imbalance. Go head down, neck back, jaw relaxed, good for most people. But head down, neck forward, that makes you feel like a turtle. It doesn't feel nice. So always head down, neck back. Now when you bring your head up, go throat forward, chin up. And that feels good. But if you keep your chin up, careful those with neck pain, then move the throat backward, you'll feel it doesn't feel so nice for most people. So when your head goes up, keep the throat moving more forward. And these are the linear movements, head down, neck back, which is very good if you're doing things like a sit-up. You don't want head down, neck forward in a sit-up, it'll hurt. So head down, neck back. And then throat forward, chin up is very good for positions like this. Don't just lift the head up. You move the throat forward, chin up. Don't just bring the head back like this. So throat forward, chin up, not chin up and neck back. Otherwise your neck will be in pain for most people. So if you're moving like this, linearly it's good to know at least that much. But the second stage of the joint synergy would be to make it fluid. And then you can do this very carefully. Watch first. I'm going to bring my chin in, neck back, then chin up, then throat forward, head up, then head down, neck back. Chin in, then lift the chin up. Throat forward, then bring the head down and neck back. So I'm not moving my whole range of motion, but you can see my throat and my chin are making a circle. And so that movement is actually what's going to automatically happen if you do the joint synergy with all of the body. And I'll just go to it now. And you don't move the neck at all. Notice my eyes are looking exactly the same spot. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm looking straight ahead. But because I'm looking straight ahead in this position, I'm actually head down, neck back. But in this position, I'm actually throat forward, chin up. So by keeping my head in the same spot, it's the same, and moving my trunk, that's the same as keeping my trunk still and doing that. So it exercises your neck, and the benefit is by keeping your head in the same spot then, you don't get dizzy. It exercises your neck. And in the beginning, if you're trying to follow me, you can follow me better. Okay, so let's put all of this together. And again, I haven't got too much time. So if you want to, you just focus on one bit. And so we're going to begin a little bit from the tips of the body, and I'm going to add on. And if all you can do is focus on the one bit and ignore the other bits, that's fine. You want to make it meditative, and the meditation, remember, must have engagement. Engagement means excite yourself enough to stay aroused and interested, but don't try and do too much that it makes it stress. And calm yourself enough, but don't do so little that it becomes boring. And that's different for each person. And the same is true of the movements. So a simple combination will be to do fingers and wrists and elbows and arms and hips and thighs and back and the abdomen and the head, perhaps, like that. And that's quite simple like this. Don't copy now. But that stage, going very slowly like this and sensually, can gradually become something which is much bigger, and eventually much faster. And if I do 100 of these in a row, it feels quite amazing, that much. And gradually with time, I can also start doing one at a time. So one at a time, one arm at a time, instead of lengthening both sides of the trunk, I only lengthen one side of the trunk. And it comes like a side bend. And because it's only one-sided, whenever the arms go back like this, it makes you bend backward. But if only one arm goes back, it makes you twist. Whenever the arms go forward, it makes you bend forward. But if only one arm goes forward, it makes you twist. So the progression of this simple joint synergy, which I said you can get from my free program, is that eventually it becomes twisting and side bending with the possibility of any movement. So let's perhaps try some of this. And I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to ask you to follow my clicks and movements. So as we're practicing now, I'll just point to each part. Add it if you can. Remember, first stage of joint synergy is the linear phase. We've learned that. Second stage, make the movement fluid without stretching. Third phase, relax. Fourth phase, reverse engineer it so the core, the trunk, moves first. And then perhaps fifth phase, the core, including the lower abdomen, moves before the trunk. So let's begin. We're going to begin with simple finger movements and then gradually move into more complex movements. Incidentally, when your lower abdomen moves in, as mine does, I'm engaging my perineum, but not my anus, not my urethra. That's very difficult for most people to do. But if you want to, whenever your lower abdomen goes in, it'll be easier to engage the lower abdomen if you tighten your whole pelvic floor, and it gives you some pelvic floor exercise that you might like. But just be sure that that pelvic floor contraction is only taking place in the beginning. Then as soon as you start coming up with your hips, you expand and relax the pelvic floor. So as the weight goes from hips in the center of the feet downwards, pelvic floor, lower abdomen in to the middle, then pelvic floor expands on the way up. Pelvic floor and lower abdomen goes in on the way down and expands on the way up. So you can use that as well if you wish, or just ignore the whole lower abdomen bit. Better to have your abdomen and pelvic floor relaxed for most people than it is to have everything tense. Let's go about 10 minutes for this. And I'm not going to say anything from now on, but I will make these click sounds. And the click means add something new perhaps. Okay? Triple click means keep doing the practice. And that's probably enough for tonight. Okay, so just continue. Face me. I'm going to sometimes face you, but so you can see the front view of me. But I'm also going to sometimes face sideways so you see a side view, or backwards so you see a back view. But I recommend for you, you face towards me and keep your eyes on me. When I start moving my neck, that movement is optional. When I start doing deep squats, that's optional too. And remember, if your hips and knees are a little bit fragile, it's much safer to move gently. Here I'm warning you, please don't hurt yourself. Please know that the simple, slow movements are the safest. But once I do fast, big movements, they're not safe for everyone. But like I said, it's a program which you want to make sustainable. And where one person can find that something is difficult, another person will find it super easy. So I'm giving you a range of motion. What you want is that at your level, it doesn't feel stressful, and in fact, it feels calming, energizing, heart rate stays low. You want to feel like as you're doing this, you could talk pretty much all the time. And if you did a whole program maybe for 100 minutes, then maybe sure, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, go a little bit harder. But for me, 90 to 95 to 99% of the time I'm practicing this, I'm able to talk all the way through. And it's like when we go for a long walk, and we know the benefits of a long walk. But when we walk, most of the time we can talk. Okay, begin. Face me, start with your knees a little bit bent, and open the arms. And then from there, we begin by relaxing. Check the fingers can move. Check the shoulders can roll. Check the neck is free. Pelvic floor relaxed and pelvis can move. Back lengthened, abdomen can breathe or roll. And the face relaxed. And then we begin. First with finger synergy, then wrist synergy, then elbow synergy, then arm synergy, then shoulder blade synergy, then hip synergy, then thigh synergy, then back synergy, then the core synergy if you can do it with the lower abdomen, then maybe the neck synergy. And then you just do as much as you can after that. And we'll finish at the end like this or like this and relax. When we finish like this, if you want, you can lie down and relax or sit and relax. You can do the whole practice if you wish, sitting on a chair, although your hips won't be able to move. lengthen, and relax throughout the practice. Thank you very much. That's all I've got for the night. I've got to go home and have breakfast and prepare lunch for the kids in the morning. So it's after my 10:30 at night and I haven't eaten all day yet. When you work like this, you find you don't get hungry. The trick is in the beginning to look for the things that make life pleasant. So for example, as I'm practicing, I'm getting super warm, but no heart racing. Check if you did that with me. Did you get something like that? That's a sign of health. Good circulation with low heart rate. Did you feel like it was strengthening, like you used your muscles, your joints, yet the focus was on being relaxed, not being tense? It's much more inviting to do exercise that does not feel stressful for most people. Some people live in the mentality of no pain, no gain. But in my observation, and I'm in my 61st year, those people who worked really hard with exercise when they were younger became problematic in their joints by the time they got to 40, 50, 60 years old. Was the people who just took it easy. They actually maintain functional strength and flexibility. Functional. Now, of course, you can take this, you can go much further and build up much more strength and flexibility, but the risks are phenomenal. What we want is to be able to do the activities of daily life for as long as possible. And so look for strength without tension. Look for flexibility without strong stretch. Mobility. Mobility means freedom. And freedom in your body helps with freedom in the mind. And then look for energy without having to breathe so much. Maybe even some of you felt it at the end, energy between the hands, like a magnet. And this took me a while to get. But once you can start moving blood and really feeling the electromagnetic nature that comes off each cell, you'll start to feel it outside the body like an aura. Auras are real. And when your energy is good, you'll feel it around yourself. So if you want more, please get my introductory joint synergy program. I think the easiest way to get it would be to go to my Instagram at Simon Synergy. And then from Simon Synergy, you can go into my Linktree profile and I think it says free joint synergy program. If someone can't find it, write to me, send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook, or you can write to me, Simon at simonborgolivier.com. If you've registered for this course, you would have got that. I'll send you a link to this afterwards, so you get a replay to watch this again for one more week. And maybe consider going straight to get my full joint synergy program, which is like about a 7-hour lecture series with practical classes, and you see myself and Jennifer, my partner, doing these things at the same time. And there's only a first stage, but then I have many other programs as well that can take you that little bit further. And including in my membership site, you can actually do a lot more there. And we have question and answer session each week and a practice session as well. So I'm looking forward to spending more time with you. It's a pleasure to meet you, the ones who are here for the first time. And I'll be doing something else for the next few weeks. Also have yogasynergy.com, where I have all my yoga material, simonborgolivier.com, where I have stuff which is not so much yoga, but the stuff of everyday health, which everyone can do. So thank you very much for being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you another time. I might just quickly check the comments. So if anyone's left any comment, maybe I can have a quick look. And there's been some nice comments, and I'll go from the quick look at the beginning. Talia commented about the commentary of putting the gas mask on. Yeah, that was a good one. Thank you, Talia. Christina, thank you. Estrella, perfect. Thank you, Mirella, at the beginning. The class is on now. Yes. Pooja, hi. Sharita from South Africa, thank you. You're on. Yes, Estrella. Mirta, hello from Croatia. Good. MK from India, hello. Jasmine Jewel from UK, hello. Satish, yes. Online. Patel, thank you. Hello from France, from Bastien. Oh, lovely. Mirella from NJ, thank you. Hemanta from Odisha, India, thank you for being here. And Salute from RW. Vikrant Vijay from China, hello. And hello from India, from Air Commodore. Oh, thank you very much for being here. Tita, belly leads, the rest is coming. Bless you, Tito. It's such a pleasure working with you. And Talia, I've got to run. You can watch it later on, Talia. Thank you very much for being here. And Kritika, I'm suffering from knee pain. Please suggest some exercises. Okay, so register for my free knee pain program. If you write to me, I can send you that. I talked about it a little bit through this. Just make sure the knee doesn't hurt whenever you do things and focus on strengthening the hamstrings. Gentle, non-weight bearing exercise is good, like I did on one legs before. Hello from Germany, Ricardo, thank you. And thank you from MK and Mamta, and Selena says thank you. Bastien says thank you, amazing. And Sherry says thank you from Brighton, USA. Sharita Patel, eye-opening from South Africa. Guys, everyone, thank you very much for being here. It is my pleasure, my honor, my privilege to connect with you in this world where we can't travel anymore. I miss traveling. I miss seeing all my friends overseas. So love you heaps. Remember, best results come when you share good energy and loving information inside yourself. The good energy is healthy blood flow with low heart rate. The loving information is that dominance of your calming response, the parasympathetic dominance. And when you can learn to share good energy and loving information through your body while keeping your muscles and joints happy and mobile. Remember, exercise is optional, but movement is essential. It's one of my favorite physiotherapy axioms. And then you'll find that the model you give to yourself is one you can share with other people. Share good energy and loving information inside yourself and then share it with the world. Thank you very, very much.